thank you everyone for coming tonight. It is 6:07 on February 6th. I would like to open the Halifax Elementary School public budget hearing to follow by our regular meeting. So with that, we can go to open the public budget hearing.
I don't. I'll look it up. I don't think so. But it couldn't hurt.
All right, well, let's just do it.
That
Okay.
and search.
All right, I would like to thank Area 58 for filming and recording this meeting tonight, and with that, I will hear a motion to open the public budget hearing.
I'll make a motion to open the public budget hearing.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so is there any participation from the public regarding the budget?
That's when you want me to go, is that correct? That's when I'm supposed to go, during the public?
This is for the budget hearing though, so if this is not pertaining to the budget,
Oh, yes. So, we can pass a few of these around. I'm Kelly DePasqua, the Department Chairperson of Arts, 7 through 12 curriculum coordinators. Thank you. Someone bring that way. So, David, where's the best place to stand? Here? Yeah. All right. I wanted to thank you for the opportunity. I'm here tonight as the 7 through 12 arts coordinator for the Silver Lake Regional Public Schools, and here to ask your support of the instrumental music .4 position that's been proposed in the budget. And I want to just give a few, as a member of that arts staff and community for the district, some of the reasons why I would like you to consider this proposal. And I made this infographic, if you would pass it around, there's a few extra for the look. I was told to keep it short and simple, so I made the top 10 reasons, and I will stick to them. Reason number 1 is that music has been recognized as a core subject since 2015. You can read quickly some of the things that music does. It develops reasoning and creativity, improves memorization, increases coordination, builds listening skills, teamwork, instills practice and a sense of craftsmanship. If we look to number 2, at this point in the district, Halifax is the only school that doesn't have curricular instrumental lessons as part of the day, provided by the school system as a program that we fund and support. This year we were able to bring it back at Dennett, and 2 years ago, actually before COVID, but then COVID made it a little bumpy, but 2 years ago in earnest it's been back curricularly in Kingston. And you can see the numbers there. At this point there are 125 students in grades 4, 5, and 6 in the instrumental program in Kingston, and this year in its first year at Dennett, 39 students, 44% of the student body jumped at the opportunity. And at Halifax, there are currently no students able to start instrument lessons before grade 7. We've had a Band-Aid as a regional system for a very long time, starting beginning band in grade 7. But that is a Band-Aid only. Our students that start beginning band in grade 7 are not on the same par with students who start beginning band in grade 4, which is what happens in all of the area towns around here. If you look to number 3, the students in Halifax are eager for this opportunity. We took our band and our choir to every elementary school last spring. Our first part of the day was Halifax, and the students it was probably our most enthusiastic audience. Halifax is a very creative and arts-oriented school. The students, the day after it happened, Mrs. Lassard, can we start a band? They want the opportunity. They have asked, that came to tell you, they've asked him, can we start a band here in Halifax? There was quite a buzz about it last spring, and if you can see from the district, the interest is there. It's the opportunity that we need to provide. I'd like to speak quickly to reason 4, the importance of it being curricular. The other Band-Aid we've had for a long time has been to have it be after school or something that's before school or after school. And I really am here to advocate that the way to have it be music for all is for it to be curricular. There are many barriers for students when it's after school or before school, students, or even self-pay, which is how it was. The inability to pay, the inability to get transportation before or after school. I mean, 5th grader can't stay after because the 2nd grader can't get off the bus alone. It's also, we talk about Halifax being a very sports-oriented town. After school is when you have sports practice. Putting curricular band during the day actually eliminates the conflict with sports and allows students who might have after-school sports to also be able to play. So If you turn the page, here's my little personal dig. If you look up in the very top corner, I am also a graduate of Halifax Elementary School. I grew up in this very same place. It'll get me emotional. That's 1983. You can see the tan curtains in the background. But that's me, playing Annie, in the 4th grade at Halifax Elementary. And I am now the department chairperson of the arts, where I direct the musical theater program. I get emotional, but the opportunities that were afforded to me at Halifax Elementary set me on my career path for what I do, for making my living as a professional musician. And it all started right here at Halifax Elementary. And without those opportunities, it's a missed opportunity that we are not giving students. I don't know what would have happened if I hadn't played Annie in the 4th grade, but I may not have made the career choices that I made. And I would also say, if you read those points, all students have the potential to achieve in music. Some students have the potential to achieve in music more than any other subject. And when we don't start early enough, I have the data right now. We just auditioned for senior SEMSBA. We did not get any instrumental students into senior SEMSBA. All the vocal students made it because it's a lot easier to start singing later and catch up. But the development of instrumental technique, our students, even our best students, are not on par with students who started in grade 4 when they didn't start till grade 7. Real quick through the other ones, because I know you can read, but I also know Halifax is a very civic-minded community, and we do get the calls yearly for the parades to march through town on Memorial Day. We want a parade marching through town on Memorial Day. Gotta put the instruments in the kids' hands in 4th grade. Number 7, you can do the research. I did quick research here, but there is a high correlation between success in schools and involvement in music ensembles. You cannot say causation, cannot say which one comes first. Kids who are successful in school participate in music, or kids who participate in music are successful in school, but for decades there is a high positive correlation, especially for band. Band actually gets the highest correlation of all. And if you were to take that quote at the end, this was an article talking about cutting music. It says, the irony is that music education, multiple years of high-quality instrumental learning and playing in a band or orchestra or singing in a choir at an advanced level can be the very thing that improves all-around academic achievement in an ideal way to have students learn more holistically in schools. So as we come back post-COVID and we're trying to build all the things back, you look at number 8, critical thinking, creativity, collaboration, flexibility, leadership, social skills, all of those things are part of being a band or a choir. And so the last thing I would say is number 9, this really is the right time. I know budgets are tight. I understand what you do for the community and trying to take care of all the many needs that we have to meet. We're asking for 0.4. That's about the lowest you could get. 0.4 doesn't come with benefits. 0.4 would fix this problem for the next set of decades. As a regional system, it's been hard to share staff across buildings. If you know people in other towns and communities, most of their instrumental elementary staff are in more than one school. That's been a very hard thing for us to navigate. We have the pieces right now. We have a 0.6 teacher at Dennett, who is the beginning instrumental teacher and their general music teacher, who is willing and able to have a full-time job to come from 0.4 to Halifax. That would mean, from our point of view as a regional system, all of the students in Halifax and Dennett could have the same exact experience from the same instructor. So, I hope we all understand the whys. I know money's tight, but please support instrumental music for all students in the curriculum at Halifax. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to speak? So with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn the public budget hearing to open our regular meeting.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the public hearing meeting and go to our regular meeting.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Okay, we begin all of our regular meetings with the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, would anybody in the audience like to be acknowledged or scheduled to speak at this time during our regular meeting? Seeing no one, we have minutes from January 3rd that we need to vote. I would entertain a motion to approve the regular meetings from January 3rd.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from January 3rd, 2023. I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Custodial contract and possible vote.
So, sure, tonight in your packet, you see the contract that was ratified by the Halifax custodians. And this is something that we had worked on earlier in the school year. And so at this point, the Halifax custodians have agreed and voted to accept the proposals. I am asking the Halifax School Committee at this time to vote to approve the Halifax custodial contract, and it would require a signature by the chair if the committee does in fact vote to approve the contract as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve the custodial contract as presented.
Okay, thank you. I'll second it. Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Okay, thank you. All right, next is the MOU with Halifax Police and a possible vote. Do you want to open that conversation and allow the chief to speak?
I will. So the chief and I have been in contact, and he has updated the MOU with respect to the expectations by the state and the Department of Education, but also in light of some staffing changes in terms of a liaison that is available during the school day. And so those changes are reflected in this MOU, as we had discussed earlier in the school year, and the chief is here to answer any questions you may have.
Yeah, that's correct. Just to follow on what Jill's talking about, when I first came to you guys last year, we had a school liaison officer, school safety officer. She was working the next day. She wasn't able to be at the school on a normal basis. We have since remedied that. We had new staffing, so now she works 8 to 4. She's here every day. King can speak to how well she's been received. So my proposal is to change the wording that we had originally changed from school resource officer to school liaison officer back to school resource officer. And nothing really has changed from the original MOU that was presented. And then there was some people on the board had questions in regards to so the logistics, and we've addressed that. So if any questions.
I think the main concern from our board was both whether or not the person who was going to be the resource officer really had the certification of a resource officer, and I believe that she does.
She has above and beyond what the state recommends for school resource officers.
Okay, and then the other concern was about her availability, which just seems like that's remedied itself.
That's been addressed.
I don't doubt that her presence here is well received by our students. Yeah.
She's been out front every morning, actually catching people that are speeding right by the school. Every morning. So it gets people to slow down. But then she's been in the building, in the classroom, she's been at lunch, she's been at recess, their dismissal.
Yeah, she just set up a program, I believe, with the vice principal to do some safety for the kids, start off with the kindergarten grades and move up. So it's a lot of ideas there that hopefully we'll implement this year going forward.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds like like I said, any concerns that we have sort of worked themselves out to the point that I'm comfortable with it. And I like it.
It's been well received. Students either in the hallway and they talk to her in the hallways or in the caf or recess. So it's been Great.
Okay.
So Chief, we'll send that out for the
Yeah,
current
so signatures.
to the chair and to you, and we'll get that out to you tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate
Thank you for your
it.
time.
Do we need a motion to accept?
Yes.
Okay. So I would entertain a motion to accept the MOU as presented by the Halifax Police Chief.
I'll make a motion to accept the MOU as proposed by the Halifax Police.
Thank you.
I'll second.
This is going to be the game today.
This is
All those in favor?
Aye. Good Lord.
Approval of bill schedule, signing of warrants, which are in front of me, and do you have a single signature warrant?
There were not any single signature warrants because our last meetings when the last warrants were done. But tonight there are 11 warrants totaling $457,761.87. They're being circulated for your signature. Thank you.
Thank you. Correspondence and reports, I have none. Unfinished, or new business, I have none. Unfinished, there's none unless you guys want to interrupt at any point. Future agenda items, of course, you can always email me between now and our next meeting. Reports of standing committees. Policy, you guys met?
Yep, we met on February 2nd. We went over 2 policies, so it was the surveys. It was a really good short meeting actually. So basically we were talking about either you can opt into surveys or opt out of surveys. We cannot opt into surveys. But I had suggested maybe making it a little bit more transparent with all the parents of what the surveys are. Everybody pretty much agreed on it, and that was, I mean, am I right? We're good there, right? And then access to the security cameras, who has them, and basically this was already something that was common practice but not a policy, so it was just written into policy.
So should we expect a written policy to come out of,
For the security cameras, yes.
what about the surveys? Both?
Yes? Yes.
Because I believe Jason Fraser, who's the chair of that committee, was working with the, I don't want to say MSBA, but the MASC.
So both of those policies will be on our next agenda for review and ultimately a vote.
Okay, great.
With the language changes as a result of that meeting. So there were some minor changes to both proposals, but those will be presented to each of the school committees in March.
Okay.
Some of them will get it in February, but you'll have it in March.
Great, thank you. Negotiations, that's why we were late to this meeting, because we were meeting. So we will have executive session at the end of our meeting tonight to discuss, because that is ongoing. PAC, I believe, is Karen, right? And she didn't
No,
send...
it's actually Jim.
Oh, well, he didn't send me an update, so I don't have that. Youth and Rec is also Jim. PTO,
That's Karen.
that is Karen, so I don't have an update for that either. Looks like our March meeting is going to be full of all kinds of updates. Capital budget did not meet. Admin review.
We met. Do you want to?
Yes, sure. It's the formative midpoint evaluation and a discussion with our progress towards my goals and district goals in general. And we'll meet again in April for the evaluation, my evaluation.
Okay. Curriculum review did not meet. Union 31. We met and had a joint meeting. Yeah, no, or was that
So we have one,
all put together?
February 9th also.
We have one on Thursday. Okay.
Yep,
And did we meet before?
we did. I can give you that date as well. Let's see.
I think it's a blur. All blurs together.
We had a joint meeting on December 1st.
Oh, so then we met in January and talked about that. Okay. All right. Mr. Beaudry, you're up. We're flying through it tonight.
I make the meat pot. So, happy to say that we only had one little blip in terms of the cold weather this weekend. We had a pipe that broke in the main lobby there in the closet, but Scott Turner and the guys, they were able to kind of assess the situation. They addressed it. Everything's being dried out. That was the only blip we had. So, thank you to those gentlemen that were there over the weekend, cleaning up and making sure the building was ready for students and staff on it. We have Enrollment's at 560 students. We just recently completed our mid-year benchmarking with Star and Dibbles. We're reviewing that data and sitting down with grade level teams and just reviewing some of those numbers so that we can seek to make our goals for the end of the year. So staff's doing a nice job just kind of sitting down and analyzing the data so we can kind of move the needle where we need to get to. Kindergarten, it's that time of year again. February 1st is when our registration opened up. So we've got that information that's out to the public. So we've contacted the town hall to just kind of get the word out because that's important for us to try and get the number as exact as possible. So we're trying to put it out on Facebook. We talked to town hall with census and put it on the sign down at the fire station. So as long as we can kind of get the message out that register your kids for kindergarten, so then we can get the most accurate number for the fall. And there's, we have packets that are available that are on our website, but you can also, we can scan them, they can email Alan, we can get them out, but it's just now is the open enrollment, so please get the information out. We have our MCAS dates that are there for each of the grades, grades 3 through 6. We kick off on April 4th with grade 5, and then we move into grade 6, and then we follow up with grade 4, and then grade 3 for ELA. And then we do another round for math starting in May, and then grade 5 finishes up with science on May 23rd and 24th. There's some dates to remember down the bottom there. Our Term 2 progress reports just went out. School committee, then we have PTO coming up on the 8th, and then we have our winter break coming up. And we're back in school on the 27th. We have our second school council meeting there on the 28th, and then we're back here on March 6th.
Thank you.
Thank you. In your electronic package tonight, you'll find the copy of the most recent financial. There are really not many changes on this since last month, just a couple of things I wanted to bring to your attention. When you look on the detail, I believe it's on page 3, the very bottom of the page under contracted services, you'll see that the number has grown significantly from last month, the deficit of $71,900. That is due to the services that we've had to contracted for the school psychologist that had a position that we have not been able to fill. So that's accounting for all those other services that we still need, but we don't have a person in-house. So we are paying for those services from an outside vendor, outside contractor. But the deficit that you see there will be offset by the surplus that's in the line above, where that salary line has not been touched yet. So that will not create a real problem for our budget. The only other thing I do want to mention is on page 4, well, let's see, I guess it's on page 2 of the summary. Under special education tuition, you'll see there is a deficit there of $271,000, but that is before the circuit breaker funds have all come in and then been used. And once they do come in, that will be a surplus in that line, the tuition line. So I did want to bring that to your attention. I didn't want to alarm anybody with that. And that's all that's new for this month, unless there are any questions.
When do you expect the remainder of the circuit breaker?
Well, we have received our first payment. What will start to happen is special education will start to move purchase orders from coming out of the operating budget line to the circuit breaker line. And it comes in 4 quarterly payments. So far we just had the first payment. So we'll be just slowly moving that over, and then that will eliminate the deficit.
Okay. But you know like what to expect?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yes, we do.
Curious to see how that all unfolds moving forward. Contracted services and hopefully being able to hire somebody.
Right.
For many reasons, not just budgetary,
Right.
but for our students.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Lynch.
Thank you. I just have a quick update on our implementation of collaborative literacy, which is the new K-5 literacy program. So 2 weeks ago, we had our consultants back from Collaborative Literacy. Rebecca Denny was here on Monday the 23rd here at Halifax. Did some learning walks with Melissa Farrell, Mr. Beaudry, and Mr. DeSantis to check in on the implementation of a new program. Obviously, that's a lot of work, K-5, and we appreciate the efforts of the teachers, both who piloted and who are working with the program now. There was with Title I staff and our reading staff, there was a lesson study in the afternoon. And like Mr. Beaudry said, our benchmark data and from STAR and DIBBLES will be collected and analyzed. But we know we still have more training and support to provide. So there'll be additional professional development sessions for staff that focus particularly on writing related to collaborative literacy, and we'll also use our collaboration time on the afternoon of March 9th for Halifax teachers to have the opportunity to work together with one another to focus on curriculum and identify next steps related to that implementation. And also we have another next step is just building supplemental materials and assessments. We recognize that when you implement a new program, it's a change from how things were done before. So these are just some next steps that we're working on and staying on top of related to the implementation of the new program. So I just wanted to provide the committee with that update.
Thank you. Ms. Blake?
All right. In your packet, you will find several charts that have been updated with this year's information regarding K through 6 students attending private, parochial, and charter schools. You will notice that Halifax has noticed an increase from the last 2 years from 3 students each year in 21 and 22, an increase of 5 more students attending private, parochial, or charter schools. The other 2 charts will separate that out for you. You can see that we have 3 students, the same as last year, attending private and parochial school, which is down from 2017, where the amount was 4 students, or 7 students, I'm sorry, attending private and parochial school. And that charter school attendance is up by 2 students since last year. It is up to a total of 5 students from Halifax. So those are some new data points for you. I also have in your packet a list of school committee meeting dates, and I'm asking each of the school committees to review that for next year's meeting schedule and to consider a possible vote if you're ready to do that this evening. And you'll notice that the meeting on January 2nd is a Tuesday, and that's why that's highlighted as opposed to our normal meeting time frame. Karen attempted to try to keep this as close to this year as possible. And at the bottom, you'll see our joint school committee dates, November, February, and April 11th.
Yeah, I personally think since we made the switch to a 6-week schedule, it seems to be functioning well and allows for you fine folks to not be in so many meetings all the time, but allows for us also to get our business done in a timely manner. So as long as it seems to be working on your end, especially with the financials and things.
I like the Mondays off.
Yeah.
Monday meeting night.
Yeah. I have no issue with the way that the schedule's been presented. So if you need a vote, somebody can make a motion.
I'll make the motion to accept the Halifax School Committee meeting schedule for the 2023-2024 school year.
Thank you.
I'll second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.
Thank you.
Welcome.
And then the last thing for this evening, I'm not sure if the committee has any direction for us with regards to the budget. We presented our preliminary budget to you last meeting, and I didn't know if you had any questions or next steps for us.
Do we have any updated information regarding the technology I know the REAP grant was still, I believe, was still sort of in question, and it seems like it's a pretty hefty increase in that area. I know we discussed last week with Mr. DeSantis the importance of the math interventionist, which I think we all agree is an important position. I wouldn't be, I understand, like, I think that we as a committee, just to touch on your presentation earlier, all agree, and we discussed last meeting that we believe it's important that we have band and have the opportunity for our students, and, you know, we agreed in the ways that our students can be successful even if they aren't musicians, how music can complement their academic life. And I feel like we just have this conversation every year, and frankly, I think it would be wonderful if we could find a way, now that it's a smaller impact to our budget, to try to fit that in, if it's at all possible. That's just my 2 cents. I don't think you both would disagree with me, but I don't want to speak for you. But having the ability to share a partial position across the district is a little easier of a pill to swallow, as opposed to trying to hire a whole new person or trying to hire somebody for a part-time position, because it's very difficult to do. I did have one question about that, though. If this employee becomes a full-time employee for the district, who pays the, I would assume that employee would be eligible for benefits. So it wouldn't just be a salary increase, it would also be an increased cost to the district benefit-wise, correct? How does that work?
They are eligible for benefits in Plimpton because they're at .6 in Plimpton.
So
Yes,
so whichever,
Plimpton's paying.
so this employee currently does not carry, well, she.
I don't know the answer to that, but as a .6, they would be eligible for health benefits in Plimpton.
Oh, even as a .6?
Yes.
Okay. So the moving from a .6 to a .4 doesn't change their access to benefits? I mean, to a whole, sorry, from a .6 to a 1.0 doesn't change that part of the equation?
I think maybe David is a bit more of an expert than I am.
Work 20 hours in the week, you're eligible for benefits. So if I understand correctly, there's somebody right now who's already doing that.
Okay.
If they increased from however many hours they're working now to a full-time position,
Then that part doesn't, okay.
That got taken in last year. Like last year, it was okay for me to talk, I don't know, I'm sorry, it's hard to, but it was .4 for a very long time, and then it went to .6 this year to increase band, and then it carries that .6. So all that's left is .4, and .4 is not a benefit point. Right, I understand. The Halifax would only need .4. .6 is covered by that. Right, and nothing greater, if it's under .6, it doesn't carry benefits to the town.
My only,
Well, .5, okay, yeah, right, .5.
my only question is access to instruments. I mean, so say they're, once it's offered in school and a child wants to play, but their family can't afford the
So we
instrument.
actually did an instrument drive this year.
Okay.
Because that wasn't, we started it this year, new. We were able to put instruments in all of the hands of kids who couldn't put them in their own hands.
Okay.
So that it goes first to families to rent. And I'll tell you, we collected so we did a wide drive with the new teacher, but first-year teacher, Dennett, and needed some support. And most of our instruments came from graduating alumni who are no longer playing. But those are also student instruments. So like if someone is going to continue playing post-high school, it's time to maybe stop playing on the 4th grade clarinet anyway. So those 4th grade instruments, we have quite a supply. Putting the instrument in the kid's hand will not be an impediment. We can work with that, and we've got quite a collection this year. We have had a stash. The only one that we really did this year was a trombone for a student, and John Cody, who graduated a few years ago, like literally we had an instrument on a shelf that a kid had turned in to be passed along. So.
Good.
Pretty confident PTO would support, providing assistance if we needed it. when I talked with Plimpton, they actually said, Rod, they get donations because they can play an instrument and realize their child may not want to continue to play.
Asking for a friend, how do you donate instruments? Do you in my house?
And then on the challenge, then what we've done is our boosters as needed, if we needed to use an instrument, is we then refurbish them or have them treated. Most of the ones that come out of your closets need a little TLC before you put them in hand, but that's what our advocacy and our programs, we funded that piece as needed.
I think that we also should ask for some direction from the finance committee in town, because usually they'll come back and give each department like a number that they expect for an increase, whether it's, level service, level funded, we want 2% from your department. And I don't think we've heard from the town this year, unless you have.
So we were invited to a meeting this week with, let's see. Is it Wednesday? Thank you. Wednesday, with your new town administrator and Sandy Nolan.
Okay. Okay.
So that would be an opportunity for us to share and ask for direction.
Yeah, so I think we need to hear from the town. I think that, we all understand that our budget is tight going forward. But we did ask, or, let your team know that we felt that the interventionist was something that we would like to see in our budget. I don't know how far that conversation has gone. You don't need to give me that answer tonight. But I think that maybe for our next meeting, we should look at, what kind of a percentage increase that looks like overall, even if we wiggle a little bit. I personally would like to keep our increase, our department increase around the 2, because that's traditionally what we've done, and it seems to be palatable for the town and the taxpayers. But maybe what if we presented to the town what that would look like with those 2 additional positions becoming full-time. I think that we as a committee agree that we would like to advocate for those positions. We can go to town meeting floor and do so and make a good solid argument doing it. So that's where I'm at. But I do think we need some direction from the town before we can really move any further. Anybody else have any 2 cents on this committee? Okay.
Thank you. You're welcome. And that's it for you?
That's it?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, with that, we need a motion to adjourn regular session to enter to executive session, only to, not to return to regular session to adjourn. Come on, Lauren. We've been fired since.
I sort of got this rule now. All right. I make a motion to go into executive session. MGL C38, Section 21, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining for contract negotiation, Halifax Teachers Association, and paraprofessionals, and executive session pursuant to MGL C30A S21A7 to comply with or act under the authority of any general or special law, approval of executive session minutes of January 3rd, 2023, and not to return to regular session.
Second.
All those in favor? Lauren?
Yep.
Beth? Yes. Okay. That's it.
Thank you.